So in this video, we're going to go over the CFA 4A Part 2 video review. Sorry. So it says, given a circle has a central angle of 30 degrees and a radius of 4, what is the area of the sector? So hopefully you remember our formula for area. It says area of the sector. So to do that, we're going to talk about area is equal to pi r squared theta divided by 360, right? So theta is our angle, so that's 30 degrees. R is our radius, right? And that's 4 units. So to do this, we're going to do pi times r4 squared times r30, and we're dividing all that by 360. And then in this instance, we're going to put both of the answers with pi and when we multiply pi by pi. If you're using the TI-30s, I would say put it in math print mode and do the n over d, okay? Numerator over denominator. So you can actually put this part right up where n is, so that's your n part, and put that where d is. And then it's going to give you the reduced fraction, so that's going to be 4 over 3, and that's pi, right? So we always put pi on the top, so that's what it is in radians. And then, or with pi, okay? And then when we multiply by pi, our answer is going to be, and that's an equal, right? Because that's exact. And if we multiply 4 over 3 times pi, we get 4.19. And again, these were units, so we would have said units squared, okay? So this next one says in a circle A, segment EA is 8. So EA is 8, which means all of those, that's a radius, that means all of the radii in the circle are 8, right? So the radius is equal to 8. That's what that's really telling us, okay? So then it says find the exact arc length of CBE. So CBE is going to be going this way. CBE all the way around there. So that means we need to find some things we don't have. And I'm going to just go ahead and label everything, okay? So this is 90 degrees, right? And notice that this part right here is half the circle, yes? So to find this right here, couldn't we do 180 minus 60? And that's going to give us 120, right? So this up here is 120, and that's all we really need for this answer is to add 120 or 180 and 52. Actually, we didn't even have to do that, y'all. Look at that. Just saw what maybe some of you already saw. We had 180 up there, right? So we could have just done 180 plus 52, and that's going to give us 232, right? Now, if you want to do it my other way, do add 120 to 60 to 52 and get it. And the other part is if we wanted to find this measure over here, what we would do is add 90 to 52 and subtract that from 180. And so this over here was 38, although it wasn't part of what we needed in this particular problem. Okay, let's go on. So then it says use the following circle to answer the question. If the central angle is as shown and the arc length of AB is 28 units, what is the radius of the circle? Okay, so it's telling us that this arc length right here is 28 units, okay? So that means we're going to use the formula for length, which is 2 times pi times r, divide that, or multiply that times theta, and then divide that by 360, okay? So it's telling us that arc length is 28. We know that the, excuse me, the measure of theta is 102, so we're going to do 2 times pi times our 102, and we're going to divide that by 360. Okay, so an easy way to work this problem is to multiply both sides by 360 so we can get rid of what's in the denominator. So multiply this by 360 and the 28 by 360. And when I did that, I got 1,000 or 10,080, and that's equal to 2 pi times 102. Now I'm going to go ahead and multiply the 2 times the 102 because this is going to end up being what? Where did my R go, y'all? Oh, I never wrote it. The R goes there, right? R goes there. Yep. So what we can do is we can divide all of this by 2 pi times 102. Divide this by 2 pi times 102. You could also do it, divide it by, what is that, 204? 204 pi. And again, you can do this right in your calculator. That's going to get rid of all of that, and it's going to leave us with r up top, right? So r is going to be equal to 15.73. Okay? Number 4 says convert the following into degrees. Remember, when you're doing this, pi equals 180, right? So we're going to do 4 times 180 divided by 3. Well, 4 times 180, or 180 divided by 3 is 60. 4 times 60 is 4 times 60 is 240 degrees, right? Okay, again, change that to 180. So it's 11 times 180 divided by 6. Okay, so that's going to be, again, 180 divided by 6 is 30, and 30 times 11 is 330 degrees. Okay? Now, when we go from degrees to radians, we're going to divide by 180. And remember, I said do this in math print in y'all's calculators, okay? So when you do this with math print, you're going to get 7 over 6. And again, pi goes on top, right? In this one, you're doing 135 divided by 180 again. Okay, so again, put it in math print and do n over d. And when you did that, you should have got 3 over 4, which is 3 pi over 4 when we turn it to radians, okay? So the next one says an apple pie is cut into 8 equal slices as shown. We don't have a pie, so let's go ahead and draw it. So let's do 1, 2, there we go. There's 8 slices, right, y'all? And it says equal slices. So, and it also tells us that the diameter here is 12 inches, right? So if the diameter is 12 inches, what's the radius? If the diameter equals 12, the radius equals 6, right, y'all? And if it has 8 slices, let's do 360 divided by 8. So when you do 360 divided by 8, you should have got 45 degrees, right? So every angle in here, guys, all these angles right here, all of them, 45 degrees, okay? So it says, what is the approximate arc length of one slice of pie? So this is going to be our theta, right? And this is going to be our r. So length is equal to 2 times pi times r times theta divided by 360, right? So we're going to go 2 times pi times 6 times theta, which is 45, and divide all that by 360. Now in this case, actually asking for a length, right? So what you want to do with this is go ahead and multiply by pi, okay? So you could actually do 2 times pi times 6 times 45 and divide all that by 360. And when you do, it should give you that arc length is 4.71 inches. Okay? All right, this next one, we're solving for x. X is here. That's the angle, okay? That's what it's actually asking you for. There's no x in the problem, but we'll just say question mark. How about that? So we're going to do outside minus inside, 175 minus 85, and then we're going to divide that by 2. So 170, not 172, 175, y'all. 175 minus 85 is 90, right? So then we're going to take that 90 and divide it by 2, so our angle is going to be 45 degrees. Outside minus inside arc divided by 2 equals the angle, okay? So here's our last 2. It says, given the following image, find the area of the white region rounded to the nearest tenth. So it says area, so we're going to use our area formula. So that's pi r squared theta divided by 360. So now we got to figure out what r and theta are, okay? So it looks to me like r is equal to 36. And theta is going to be in here, right? So we're going to take 360 minus the 330. So that means that angle is going to be 30 degrees, okay? So that's equal to theta. So what we're going to do is pi times 36 squared times 30 and divide all that by 360. So here again, we're going to get two answers. So when we do this with pi, which is our equal, right? That's our exact measure. This is 108 pi. And we're given the unit. So I don't know what the units are. So we're just going to say units squared. Okay. And then when we multiply by pi, that's our approximate answer, right? So that's going to be 339.3. And again, we don't know what a unit is, so we're just going to leave it units squared. Okay. Here's our last one. It says find the value of x in the following diagram. So if you recall, we have an arc here and we have an arc here. To find the question mark angles, those are congruent, right? We're going to add arc plus arc and divide by 2. So that's going to give us 126 divided by 2, which is equal to 63, okay? So that we're going to put that back in this drawing where the question mark is, okay? So if that's 63 degrees, how do we solve for the angle that's next to it that forms a line? We do 180 minus 63, and that's going to equal 117 degrees. So that was what the value of x was.